All right, everybody, this is Mr. Stevens here. And today I am going to teach you all how to solve inequalities. So it's kind of like Mr. Morgan, only even better because it's Mr. Stevens. All right, so first off, some notes. Inequalities can be solved by following the same steps as equations. The variable, and make sure that you are writing this down in your notes because I will be checking it. The variable must be alone or isolated, so all by itself, on one side of the inequality. To do that, you're going to isolate the variable by using, you may remember this from the equations part of the unit, by using inverse or opposite operations. So if we have addition, we're going to subtract. If we have multiplication, we're going to divide, and so on. Whatever you do, remember, this is the golden rule. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. All right, let's get into some example problems. It says, I'm going to do this front side, and then you guys, what I'd like you to do is you and your partner, so I'm not going to be here for partner practice, but like you guys to do the back side, okay? All right, number one, so I see a couple things. So first off, we learned yesterday how to read this inequality symbol right here. Let me use my fancy laser, okay? That is less than or equal to, and remember the trick that the less than, you can always tell it's less than because it looks like an L. All right, so we have n plus 5 is less than or equal to 16. You guys know I like to draw my line down my inequality symbol or my equal sign. I'm gonna subtract 5 on both sides to get rid of the positive 5. That's 0, and we're just bring down that one n. And then 16, oops, should not be an equal sign. I'm so used to doing equations. Keep that same inequality symbol. 60 minus 11 is, or 60 minus 5 is 11. So our answer is n is less than or equal to 11. And so for this one, for the checking in the graph, we have to pick a number that's equal to 11 or less than 11, okay? Because that's what we think that it's gonna be. So we can do 11 for this one. Let's plug in 11. So I'm gonna do 11 plus 5 is less than or equal to 16. We always put a question mark until we simplify it all the way. And then this would be 16 is less than or equal to 16, which is true because that equal part of the inequality symbol makes it true. So right here for graphing, remember, when it's less than or equal to, we use a closed or shaded circle. Some people call it a filled-in circle, whatever you prefer. And then since it's less than, remember the trick that if you draw your arrow, it should be pointing to the left. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that over here and put my 16 below it. Or sorry, put my 11 below it, my fault, because that's our solution. Okay, number 2. This time we have subtraction. We still have the variable on the left-hand side, only now we have c minus 9 is greater than 14. So right away, I know that I'm going to be using an open circle. All right, I'm going to add 9 on both sides to get rid of the negative 9. Cross that off. We're left with 1c. c is greater than 14 plus 9, which is 23. So my inequality, the solution is c has to be greater than 23. All right, for the check, we need to plug in a number that's greater than 23 because that's what we think it is. So let's just plug in. We'll just do 24 because that is greater than 23. So let's do 24 minus 9, is that greater than 14? All right, well, 24 minus 9 is 15, and 15 is greater than 14. So let's go ahead and graph that. We use an open circle, put the 23 underneath it. And remember the trick, as long as the variable is on the left side, we can use the trick, so the arrow should be pointing to the right, like this, and we are done. Number 3, this time we have multiplication. Variable is still on the left-hand side. I'm going to draw my line down it. So we have 12g is less than 48. I'm going to divide both sides by 12 since I have multiplication, and that's the inverse operation. 12 divided by 12 is 1. Okay, so we got 1g, or just g. So g is less than 48 divided by 12, which is 4. So my solution, or my solution set, is g is less than 4. All right, so we got to pick a number that's less than 4. So let's do 3 for this one. So let's do 12 times 3. Is that actually less than 48? Well, 12 times 3 is 36, and 36 is less than 48. Let's graph this. We'll put a 4 underneath it. We need an open circle, okay? And it says since it's less than, it's going to point to all numbers less than 4, which would go to the left. Number 4. Again, we have, what I like to do for this one, everybody, and I think I told you guys this in the last lesson, when the variable, let me use my laser again, when the variable is on the right side, I'm going to flip everything around just because it's so much easier to graph that way. But remember that when you flip it, whatever, let's call it like not very good math vocabulary, whatever, but whatever whatever the inequality symbol is eating, if you will, before, or like to begin, it still needs to be open up to or eating when you flip everything around, okay? So right now it's eating the 49, okay? Because the mouth is kind of open up to the 49. So when we flip it around, we're gonna flip it around like this. It still needs to be eating the 49. So we gotta make sure that we flip everything around, and don't forget to flip that inequality symbol around. All right, now we can start solving like normal. Let's draw our line. We're gonna divide both sides by 7. And 7 divided by 7 is 1, so we got G is less than or equal to 7, okay? 49 divided by 7 is 7. So let's, we can plug in 7 for this one since it is less than or equal to. So let's do 49, is that greater than or equal to 7 times 7? Put a question mark. And 49 is greater than or equal to 49, so we're good there. We're gonna put 7 on the graph, do a closed circle, since it's less than, since the graph, we're gonna graph this right here, okay? So since it's less than or equal to 7, it should be pointing to all numbers less than or equal to 7, so it's gonna point to the left, and we are done. Number 5, we have P divided by 3 is greater than 9. All right, we got our variable on the left-hand side, and that is a 9, not a Q. So we're gonna, since we have division, we're gonna multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of that. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so we're just left with P is greater than 9 times 3, which is 27. All right, for this one, we do need to pick a number that's greater than 27. I'm gonna pick a multiple of 3, so the next multiple of 3 would be 30. So let's do 30 over 3. Is that greater than 9? Put a question mark. 30 divided by 3 is 10, and 10 is greater than 9, so we're good there. Put your 27 underneath the graph, and we're gonna use an open circle, and we're gonna point to the right. Since it's P is greater than 27, we need to point towards all numbers that are greater than 27. Number 6, last one. I'm gonna reverse everything since the variable is on the right side. So I'm gonna bring the x plus 19 over on the left side, and I'm gonna flip that inequality symbol and write my 33. Okay, and remember, so since this was opening up towards the 33, it still needs to be opening up towards the 33 when you flip it. Draw your line, subtract 19. And we got x is less than or equal to, this would be 13, and so that would be 14. X is less than or equal to 14. For this one, let's just plug in a number. We could plug in 14 since it is less than or equal to, but this time let's for real plug in a number that is less than 14. So let's do 13. So we'll do 33. Is that greater than or equal to 14? Or sorry, I told you that we would do. So 13 plus 19. And 33 is greater than or equal to 32. Put a question, or put a check mark. For the graph, let's do a closed circle at 14 since it's less than or equal to. Remember, we're graphing this right here, okay? And since it's less than or equal to, it's gonna need to point towards all numbers that are less than or equal to, and an easy way, again, to check is to just draw that arrow through your inequality symbol and make sure that it matches on your graph. All right, so what you guys are gonna do, you're gonna do the back side with your partner. When you and your partner are done with that, you need to do your independent practice on Schoology. Thanks, y'all.